Rashomon effect. What can be done when there is no clear winner in model comparison? The world is full of uncertainty, and relying on a single analytical method can confine us to an overly simplistic answer. In alignment with the principle of triangulation, it is advisable to employ multiple modeling techniques and then compare them based on predictive accuracy, variance explained, error rates, or information criteria such as AICc and BIC. However, what happens when such comparisons reveal no clear winner? Imagine solving a classification problem where a decision tree, a support vector machine, a random forest, an XGBoost model, and a neural network all achieve around 85% accuracy, and their difference is less than 0.5% to 1%. This situation exemplifies the Rashomon effect, in which multiple models explain the same dataset equally well, even though they differ in structure, parameters, or decision logic. The term Rashomon originates from Akira Kurosawa's 1950 film Rashomon, set in feudal Japan and centered on a crime told from 4 conflicting perspectives: a bandit, a samurai's wife, the murdered samurai through a medium, and a woodcutter who witnessed the events. Each account seemed plausible, yet no definitive verdict emerged. Similarly, in data science, the Rashomon effect, popularized in statistics by Leo Breiman, illustrates how predictive accuracy alone cannot reveal which model best captures the underlying reality. The uncertainty arises not from the data itself, but from the vast model space in which many plausible candidates coexist. A parallel concern arises in the philosophy of science, particularly in the Quine-Duhem thesis, developed by Pierre Duhem and expanded by W.V.O. Quine. This thesis argues that no scientific hypothesis is ever tested in isolation, but always alongside auxiliary assumptions such as background theories, measurement conditions, or operational definitions. When empirical evidence conflicts with predictions, we cannot know whether the flaw lies in the central hypothesis or in its supporting assumptions. Thus, theory testing is always underdetermined by the evidence. Although the Rashomon effect stems from computational modeling and the Quine-Duhem thesis from epistemology, both highlight the same fundamental reality. The same body of observations can be explained by multiple, mutually incompatible frameworks. In this sense, the Rashomon effect can be viewed as a finite, computationally explicit instance of the broader underdetermination problem long recognized in philosophy. Faced with the Rashomon effect, researchers have several strategies at their disposal. One approach is to privilege simplicity, in line with Occam's razor. Among models of similar performance, simpler ones often generalize better, are easier to interpret, and are less prone to spurious correlations. For example, when a decision tree performs, as well as a deep neural network, the tree is often the more practical choice. Another strategy is regularization, which penalizes model complexity and narrows the Rashomon set by encouraging sparsity or smoothness, thus isolating more generalizable solutions. Sensitivity analysis can also play a role. If small changes in the data produce wildly different models, that instability is a red flag. Typical tools include perturb predictors, tweak measurement scales, drop one case at a time, which is known as leave one out, or jackknife, vary priors in Bayesian analysis, and so on. Preference should be given to models that remain robust across different conditions. When several models are equally good, rather than selecting just one model, some researchers embrace diversity through ensemble methods and model averaging. By combining multiple models, ensembles often reduce variance and improve performance, though this comes at the cost of interpretability. Imagine a university preparing to send a dance team to a national competition. They host an internal contest first, and the teams from the School of Business, the School of Performing Arts, and the College of Social Sciences all perform at a very high level. Each group is strong, but in different ways. One excels at rhythm, another at creativity, and another at precision. Rather than sending an entire team from just one school, the university decides to select the best dancers from each. The result is a new super team that combines diverse strengths, raising the overall performance. This is exactly how ensemble methods and model averaging work in statistics. By combining multiple good models, we reduce variance and improve accuracy, even if it makes the final result harder to interpret. At the same time, domain expertise and common sense remain indispensable. External knowledge can help rule out models that rely on spurious or nonsensical relationships. For example, if a model suggests that playing video games improves academic performance, researchers should be skeptical, despite its predictive validity. Another famous example is that Facebook likes could predict attributes such as sexual orientation, political leaning, or intelligence with high accuracy. While predictive, many of these correlations had little explanatory power and raised ethical concerns. For instance, liking curly fries was once highly predictive of higher intelligence, but clearly absurd as a causal relationship. Put it bluntly, in quantitative analysis, we need to employ domain knowledge to make a qualitative judgment. When all else fails, the ultimate test may be the natural experiment. In such cases, competing approaches are implemented in different real-world settings, and the outcomes are later compared. A useful example comes from U.S. education policy, where poor academic performance, measured by assessments such as Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, Trends in Mathematics and Science Study, TIMSS, and National Assessment of Educational Progress, NAEP, has persisted despite decades of studies and interventions. Because multiple pedagogical methods can seem equally convincing, different states or districts may choose different approaches. Only after years of observation can policymakers review the results and decide which methods produce better outcomes. This reality check embodies the Chinese proverb, "The real thing is revealed by a real combat," or, more colorfully, "When the water recedes, we see who is naked." For more information, please view the movie Natural Experiments, which can be found in the channel. In summary, both the Rashomon effect in data science and the Quine-Duhem thesis in philosophy underscore the deep-seated challenge of indeterminacy. Observations alone cannot always reveal a single best explanation, whether in computational modeling or scientific theory testing. For researchers, this recognition is both humbling and liberating. Humbling, because it reminds us that evidence rarely speaks with one voice, and liberating, because it encourages methodological pluralism, critical reflection, and creative problem-solving. Ultimately, whether in analytics or philosophy, our task is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to navigate it thoughtfully, drawing on simplicity, robustness, expertise, and the reality checks of lived experience. So, what do you think? Which approach would you adopted to resolve Rashomon effect? Please drop a comment here. If you found this information helpful, please share it on your social media. If you are an instructor, please feel free to include this video into your instructional resources. Thank you for watching. Mahalo.